Alrighty, so today is I guess part 2 in the IBC tote creation. So we're going to be going over what to put in your totes and rough quantity of each item. So the material list that you'll kind of need are a couple wagons of logs cut roughly at 12 to 16 inches in length. Wood chips, about one wheelbarrow of wood chips, one wheelbarrow of compost, one big bale of peat moss, and about 20 liters worth of perlite. I will add in each section a rough quantity, and you'll see it in the video. Alrighty, let's get into the building of the beds. Alright, so you'll have your bed. It'll look roughly like this when it's empty. Now, I have some small logs here. They're roughly 16 inches long. This one's only about 3, maybe 4 inches in diameter. And I just stack them. Not stack them, but stand them up. Just like that. This is my wagon. It's stacked decently high. Now this will probably do about 1/3 of the bed itself once it's actually put into the bed. And we're just going to stand them up as tight as we can. It'll probably take about three wagon loads to fill up this 40 by 42 inch bed. So I will just make a cut and let's fill this in with this wheelbarrow, and then I'll start again. Typically what I'll try and do is I'll put the flattest side down in the tote and leave the not flat side kind of poking up, because it doesn't really matter too much. It's all getting covered by dirt and wood chips. The wood chips in this case are going to kind of level it out. It's easier to put in big logs and just fill in a gap between a couple big logs with these smaller ones. But I've done 6 beds, and it just so happens that this was the last bed to do, and all I have left are these small ones. But they are lighter, they're easy to manage. That was one wagon load, and I would say we're right around the halfway mark. Actually, at the halfway mark. So it's probably 2 and then an odd few. I found that with the really big logs, because you can't really fit that many logs on it, you needed about 2 wheelbarrows with big logs, and then 1 wheelbarrow of a handful of small ones. So it was like 2.5, maybe 3. But as I stand your ugly stuff up, because you don't really care. It takes up more space on the top, and just want to let the wood chips fill in the majority of the problems. There's my wheelbarrow, 6 cubic feet, and it's just level wheelbarrow to the top. So about exactly 6 cubic feet of wood chips. So for wood chips, I use this. It's just a pitchfork or a manure fork, or I don't know what you want to call it. It's just a tined fork. Move my wheelbarrow kind of somewhat tight, and I'll just scoop it out. Now, when I go in with my wood chips, because these are municipality wood chips, I'll show you the quality. A lot of leaf in there, a lot of fine stuff. There's also twigs, like decently sized twigs still. So I just give it a little shake and it falls through. That kind of breaks up the clumps. So when you pull it out, it kind of gets clumpy, especially if it's sat in the same spot for a while. So I just give it a shake. And it kind of falls into those voids that I have between each of the logs. So I just come in, give it a shake over the whole thing, and I'll just do that for the whole wheelbarrow. Fluff it up by giving it that shake, just to break down that particle size. Because if you get clumps, your stuff won't want to fall into the voids as well. And I just take it and I kind of just poke around. Not very hard, just enough to kind of disturb the logs. And that disturbance will actually encourage the wood chip material to fall between the cracks a little bit more. Deep or whatever. I tend to like to poke around, jostle the logs a little bit more than you did at the beginning. And with that extra material that you have on top just hanging around, like this log here, you see, oh yeah, there's a nice hole in there now. You know, so just start poking around, stuff will fall in. This is where most of your dirt goes the first year. You'll put your dirt in the bed and it'll all kind of be clumped up and sitting, and then after a couple waters, your dirt starts to fill in these voids, and that's why you have big holes and stuff in raised beds in that first year, and then you're constantly fighting these craters. Whereas when you go with the wood chips just help fill in those voids, help keep more of your dirt that you pay for up at the top and not at the bottom. Also, I like to use, if I can, homemade compost for this job. Homemade compost, especially if it's got lots of worm activity in it, is great for this. So I'm near the end. I only got a couple more things, and the pitchfork's not really grabbing this, so I just throw the wheelbarrow up there for the rest of it. It's flat enough anyways, and bang the sides, especially if they're in, like if they're pushed in a little bit. If you push them out and give them a couple bangs with the wood chips, actually will hold your tote to the cage. So let's go on a little walk. Alrighty, that's logs and wood chips in 7 totes. Alright, here's our peat moss. Okay, so we're gonna use one bundle or bag, whatever. We're gonna use one of these per bed, so that's 7.6 cubic feet per tote. So one of these and about the same amount of compost. Obviously not compacted like this, because well, I'd go about 8-9 cubic feet of compost. You can go a little bit heavier on the compost, but you'll want one bundle of this peat moss per bed. So I would just cut that open, fluff it up, add in your 20-ish liters of perlite. I'll show you this bed here. This is my completed bed. I'm waiting on my vermiculite to come in from Home Depot. They sell big bags of vermiculite in 115 liter bags, I do believe. You can get 2 of those, 113 liter bags. Sorry. You can get 2 of those for about 130 bucks Canadian. And if you really want to, you can get it shipped to your door. Anyway, so this is the bed here. Now this is Perlite in this bed. I did find that the vermiculite is actually cheaper this time by about 10 bucks than the Perlite, and vermiculite is the better of the items. Now this has some homegrown compost in it. It's got a cow manure with some straw mixed in. It broke down from last year, and we put that in at about the same amount as the peat moss. So 1-to-1 with the peat moss and about 20 liters of perlite. This has about, I want to say probably closer to 27 liters of perlite in it in this bed. I went a little bit heavy with the perlite last year. I think it's a little heavy anyways. Perlite's something that if you really want to add later, or vermiculite, if you want to add more, you always can, but if you add too much, I'm trying to figure out the best combo. Obviously this bed, I had to change because I was digging down and I found these big, oh, there's another big clump of perlite. Guess I didn't mix that spot well. You can see the white stuff here, pretty dense. Anyways, so this is what your bed will look like. And this bed has been in our garden for 3 months now. Still picking out twigs. Soil should be loose, nice, kind of fine. It's moist, doesn't, like, it clumps together, nice, but it doesn't, like, you know, you break, it falls apart relatively easily. That's what you want. And I would say that this bed is actually in good shape right now. We do have our water system kind of somewhat set up. It's not the best, it's not the greatest, but it's there. There was quite a few worms in this when I was turning this over the other day, just to mix in that perlite a little bit better. But so we know that there's worm life in here, which is good. And once worms are in here, they're probably going to stay in here. They can leave, there's holes, like we said, but most of the worms in here came from our compost. And they're striving and thriving in here, so I can't really complain. Now these beds have been actually pretty great weed-wise. There's like none. Get the odd grass. And I'll show you our strawberries. All right, so here's our strawberry bed. It's looking decent. We had some really high heat temperature weeks earlier in the year, and it kind of hurt our growth. We overwatered before it got really hot, and then we underwatered when it did get really hot. And so now that we have our irrigation system set up, it kind of looks jank, but it's working, and everything looks fantastic in here now. Some of our leaves have a little bit of a problem, but we also are dealing with I do believe these are moths. Let me get a close-up. I do believe that's a moth. I'm not 100% sure. Pretty sure it's a moth. I'll look it up, but I guess give these to the chickens whenever I see them. Here you go. They fight over it. They love that stuff. So there's really not that many. For the weeds that do come with these beds, it's basically just small stuff. It's a lot easier to manage than the in-ground garden, that's for sure. So that's what you're going to be putting into your totes. I will leave a quantity in the description. There will be a list of the rough quantities of everything that you'll need and a rough cost Canadian from where I am locally anyways. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. I did get it earlier. No, you know what it is? I'm on camera, but there you go.